Dirio gets license to power. Correctional services to cut down on visitors. And ECP governor bans Chinese nationals from visiting province.
This is National EMTV News with Meriba Tulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is Tuesday's news. Landowner company Dirio Gas and Power today officially received its electricity generation undertaker's license. The certification from Independent Consumer and Competition Commission is part of the final compliance requirement for the landowner company in its bid to provide gas to power the Port Moresby grid. Dirio aims to provide 30 megawatts of power to PNG Power's Port Moresby grid by mid this year. ICCC Commissioner and CEO Paulus Ain today issued landowner company Dirio Gas and Power with a generation license to generate electricity to be supplied to PNG Power's Port Moresby grid. This license, issued by the ICCC after a power purchasing agreement was also approved by the regulator in 2019. The generation license from the ICCC, a mandatory requirement under the Electricity Industry Act.
So today's announcement will bring light to the city, and we expect the people of Port Moresby to enjoy. And we're looking forward to other announcements in the future for other parts of the country. And we know and we trust that Dirio will take some on board come in the future to help the ICCC in those processes again.
The ICCC hopes that with increased competition now within electricity generation, the benefits can be realized by electricity consumers.
We are expecting players in the industry, business houses, to translate this into reduction in rates of goods and services we experience in the city of Port Moresby.
For Dirio Gas and Power, this approval from ICCC is another step in their aim to have 30 megawatts of power supplied into the Port Moresby grid in a 200 million kina investment that they hope will bring benefits to its shareholders, landowners of the TNG LNG project and respective provincial governments.
For the provinces that have decided to invest in this business venture, uncharted territory that no Papua New Guineans have ever gone into power production. There was little experience for us to learn lessons to commence the journey. It is totally uncharted water. But I think the landowners and provincial government, thanks to the governors of those three provinces, decided that this was one investment that they will see that will provide cash flow for the landowners even after the gas projects.
There are plans for the company to also establish a similar gas-to-power facility in Hyde's Southern Highlands province.
After this project, we are moving to Hyde. And Hyde, we are looking at, I got MRDC and Dirio got 50-50 joint venture with the Hello Provincial Government and the MRDC. Our engineers are traveling up within that few days to make an assessment, and we are now talking with ExxonMobil. And H1 will be much cheaper than what we are offering to the city because we are generating from the source.
Police have charged the Secretary for Provincial and Local Level Government Affairs, Dixon Guina, for attempting to pervert the course of justice. Head of the National Fraud and Anti-Corruption Directorate, Chief Superintendent Matthew Damaru, said Guina's arrest is one that is becoming common, where those in authority are abusing their offices to suppress police investigations. Damaru said such actions only motivate and create incentives for fraud and corruption to flourish in workplaces and is not helping in the fight against corruption. Guina from Inuma village in Rigo district was initially charged for administrative actions he took against senior audit officers for report findings of an audit to the fraud squad. Based on that report, a case is now before the Waigani National Court. The number of visitors to correctional institutions around the country will be minimized. CS Commissioner Stephen Pokane says the number of officers on duty cannot handle the high number of visitors, including prisoners. Commissioner Pokane has also revealed plans to build a second prison for Moresby Province.
We have to address that. Speaking in Port Moresby, the CS Commissioner announced plans of minimizing the number of visitors in all prison facilities in the country. Commissioner Pokani says it has been a struggle for duty officers to manage both prisoners and their relatives during visiting hours. He says the number of visitors will be reduced.
They cannot supervise 45 families at the same time. That is within 30 minutes, the time that is given for a visit. But if we have 5 officers, we can try and get 5 prisoners to come and sit down with their families on visit.
Prison escapes are due to many factors within the institution and varies from institutions. It has also come to their attention that a number of prisoners have escaped while seeking medical attention outside prison walls. For Bomana, 15 in the past 5 years. This will also be reviewed, with CS appealing to the government to release allocated funding to improve services accessed by prisoners.
We have done budgets after budget every year. Even for this year, 2020, we have asked at least for 5 million to help put up additional dormitories for prisoners so that we ease the overcrowding, to have additional new dormitories for officers so that we ease manpower issue.
While there is more work to improve, build and renovate CS facilities, more attention is now given to bigger institutions like Bomana and Buimo. The CS Commissioner says levels of government have been encouraged to build rural lockups. However, supporting such institutions is an expensive exercise. For Morobe, talks to build a second CS facility is progressing.
We have requested the government, because of the issue at Buimo, that if we cannot build on the same site, then let us open some rural lockups so that we move prisoners and we reduce the current overcrowding. It comes down to money.
Jack Lapava Jr., National EMTV News.
A local level government president in Western Highlands province has raised concerns and called for the national government to fund local councillors and peace mediators to maintain peace and good order. Monglamp LLG President John Bugg said this during a recent peace ceremony in the Day electorate. There is also an ongoing fight in the electorate, which has seen more than 50 people killed.
Like any other places in the Highlands, there are still ongoing tribal and election-related fights in the Day electorate of Western Highlands. Police cannot do much to contain the situation due to a lack of manpower and funding support. Local councillor and LLG President John Bugg says village councillors and peace mediators are highly respected at the community level, but they need funding support to do their jobs to maintain peace and good order, because people will listen to them.
Police manpower, peace or one something I'm not making this peace possible where man can run free, government services can take place, leader can stand up, not talk, school picnic can go school.
The Minimbi Engambo and Namka clan of Day electorate recently held a peace ceremony after 12 years of fighting and killing each other on election-related matters. Local leaders say this could have been resolved a long time ago if they were well resourced. Local leader Lawrence Pena led the peace ceremony and committed his Minimbi tribe to Christianity so that people can freely move around.
And if we make him fish, we must make him this something also, he must have people through making fish. Belat blue you mean a cross blue you mean today and finish. Raise na fish na mamas must pull up and bell blue you mean.
Another ongoing fight in Day electorate is between two neighboring tribes of Roalka and Kimka. More than 50 people were brutally murdered, properties destroyed and lands left barren with people fleeing for their lives.
You can be killing plant man, making something that's all. You come a feast and become all money can sit down good.
LLG presidents, village councillors and peace mediators, who are the front line of a community, are left unnoticed every year when it comes to passing down budgets. Their appeal is for some sort of recognition by their local MPs to come down to the electorate and work instead of living in Port Moresby or overseas. Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
PNG's gateway to Asia remains open despite the outbreak of the deadly coronavirus in the last few days. EMTV News confirmed the Bata Shopping Centre and the Wutung border post in West Sepik remains open with people from both countries crossing the border without any proper medical checks for the virus. According to the Jakarta Post, there have been no reports of the virus in Indonesia, despite Jakarta being among the top 10 destinations for Wuhan passengers. Many have taken to social media, calling on the national government and relevant authorities to shut down the border until proper measures are in place to monitor the movement of people. The Batas market between PNG and Indonesia sees over 5,000 shoppers and border crossers a day and remains a high-risk area for the virus. So far, PNG authorities are yet to set up a containment area and checkpoint at the Wutung border post. East Sepik Governor Alan Bird has issued a ban on all Chinese nationals intending to enter the province in what he calls a necessary move to protect his people. The decision comes hours after a call by Oro Governor Gary Jufa, who called for tough preventive measures.
Since the coronavirus outbreak in China, countries around the world have stepped up their efforts to prevent the spread of the virus. In Papua New Guinea, many have been critical of the government's slow response to the global emergency. Last night, Oro Governor Gary Jufa called for the total ban of flights coming out of China. And this morning, East Sepik Governor Alan Bird sent this video announcing a travel ban on all Chinese nationals attempting to enter East Sepik Province.
Yeah, I've just issued a ban on any ethnic Chinese traveling into East Sepik Province on any carrier. I learned that a plane load of Chinese from Hong Kong just landed in Port Moresby. They were never cleared. And I have no idea what's going to happen in Port Moresby, whether they're going to quarantine them for 14 days or not. I've been asking for a complete ban of Chinese nationals into Papua New Guinea, and no one is paying attention. So I'm shutting down my province, I'm saving my people, and that's it. So as of today, no Chinese will be allowed into East Sepik Province.
And this is the most decisive move by a provincial government and the first for any provincial government. Governor Bird has defended the stiff action, saying the national government agencies have not acted quickly enough to impose preventative measures. And while the Health Department has said there are no reported cases in Papua New Guinea, it has not stopped the spread of rumors on social media. It has prompted the Health Minister to issue separate statements calling for social media users to stop sharing false information. Scott Waide, National EMTV News.
This is National EMTV News. We'll be back with more right after these messages. Welcome back to the news. 3 security guards survived a road accident in Port Moresby after the escort vehicle they were travelling in overturned at Erima. Witnesses at the scene told EMTV News this morning that the accident occurred at around 3 a.m. The vehicle, belonging to Asila Security Services, was escorting the pickup vehicle for the National Airport Corporation when it overturned. The accident occurred in front of the J-Mart shopping centre and caused a traffic jam for at least 2 hours. The wrecked vehicle was towed to the Asila security base just a few meters away from the accident site. 2 banana trees were planted on the road aisle leading to the PNGDF training depot at Goldie, just outside the nation's capital, as a sign of negligence by elected members. Locals there say they have not seen any form of maintenance done to improve the road for over 2 decades.
For locals living along the Laloki River, enjoying a smooth ride from their homes into Port Moresby has only been a dream for many years. Though it is one of the first LLGs in the Kairuku-Hiri district that is connected to the nation's capital through the Laloki Bridge, the road conditions are far worse than other parts of the central province.
Plus coming up now, no got one improvement lo this la road. Na mi plol mama, mi pla lago magat, mi pla planti sateles loya, mi pla sawe. Mi plol subsystem pama, mi pla sa sinkai golo market na feed more family na survive lo this la city. So time me plala go market morning me plus stop go in up was 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, even though me plala stop was 3 o'clock na me plus simbas lo market. A paspe now and me go on tablo tricky na.
Mari Gabi is one of the mothers living at Goldie 1 Mile, few meters away from the PNGDF training depot. Her concern is the lack of work done to improve the road condition. This road stretches for about 1 kilometer, and here locals have planted 2 banana plants as a sign of negligence by their elected member and the central governor. The bad road conditions have resulted in a decrease in the number of PMV buses operating on that route. Thus, many public servants and students who work and attend school in Port Moresby find it difficult to be on time.
So we all taxpayers too. This is whatever government must recognize in this condition. Because our province is not about right, but then corridor of city na. This road have been built colonial times, stable and road condition in Bagrapro. Land school mangi also stranded. All the work ban stop since now we stop become now almost 9 o'clock, and we waiting car. So all the people are store, all the man stable or did him service inside the city and people are people Bagrapro road condition taso.
The road becomes dusty during the dry season and huge potholes are exposed, forcing sedans to drive at a very slow pace. Long-time residents here say for at least 2 decades they have not seen any work done to improve the road network despite so many promises from successive MPs whom they have voted over the years.
When I was a young man and I came to this place, so I see that this road is built by the colonial times. So now we have government in this place. We are living in central province, but there's nothing. No MP or no regional member, no urban member to rebuild or upgrade this road.
Though this road is in the Kairukuhiri district and locals feel their member or central governor should look at fixing it, the road also leads to 2 vital government departments. NARI, a research center for the Agriculture and Livestock Department, and the Defense Department. Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
Residents of Morata in the Moresby Northwest electorate are also frustrated with the local MP for not addressing their needs. Bad roads and lack of access to clean water are some of the problems they face daily.
Carrying buckets and containers to a leaking pipe nearby is a stressful daily chore, according to residents at Morata, who have to fetch water for drinking, cooking and other things such as shower and laundry. Others have questioned why the local member, Semekere Morata, has turned a blind eye to their needs. The water problem is affecting an estimated 20 to 30,000 people in Morata.
Water is fundamental rights. And here, as you can see, 10 or 15 people are accessing water from the culvert. And then those with the alienated area like section and allotment, 3 days, 1 week, there's no water. And then sometimes the water pops in again. That's the kind of situation we're facing here.
Mi wampla mama we mi sapi wara lo jerrycan go up him going to Laos go up him walk the antap lo mountain straight go na backside blumi mi ga sick lo body blumi now mi stop.
All mama we all struggle lo sit down lo market all pinim wara and art strat. The whole community, how much black population we 22 province block country we mi plan is settle na stop lo Morata mi plan work lo use him. That's the same wara.
In another section of Morata, the roads have deteriorated and are in dire conditions, starting from Lobu Street to the Community Hall to Delta and Mosquito Street. Residents here say the roads have been neglected for almost a decade now and needs serious attention. Taxis, buses and other private vehicles use the roads every day to get to work, shops, hospitals, school and other daily activities. Not only have the roads worsened, but have become uncomfortable for users trying to avoid potholes.
Also, on behalf of the community, I appeal our good governor, MCD, Powers Pakop, and our member for Mosby Northwest, Honorable Makere, say, Lord, please look at our plight, our situation, and address the very need of fixing this road.
Doga this road condition long time been stable on also stable. Or no one the man looks out of the road. Na road condition all get the legal up street and before colonial time and stable and stop yet. Na people stop yet low way back low one block in 60s or 70s.
Me play no got proper road, all streets, you look him. Plenty of potholes stop. Lost street lights, me play no got now.
Residents of Port Moresby Northwest are hoping that their message will get through to their local member, Sir Mekere Murata, and NCD Governor Powers Pakop. Godwin Eki, National EMTV News.
The West Papua Refugee Relief Association recently put up a billboard to prevent illegal settlers from settling on a portion of land allocated for them. The portion of land was approved by NCDC Physical Planning for West Papuan refugees who have been living in the country for many years. In a meeting with the West Papuans, NCDC Youth Manager Rex Buka urged West Papuans to move in and settle in the area as soon as possible.
This portion of land is located in the Red Hills area of Gereu, next to the road leading to 9 Mile. The portion covers over 19 hectares and will be used by West Papuans to settle and rebuild their lives in the nation's capital. West Papua Refugee Relief Association Chairman Elimo Gombo says this will go a long way in supporting the lives of West Papuans living in the country.
You plau kita come, na mi plau boom one time na. This la issue by Yumi.
The West Papuan refugees have been living in the country for many years, and they have been living in certain areas in the nation's capital and various other provinces. In supporting their call for independence and to help West Papuans in the country, the portion of land was approved by the government in 2014.
So this la ground me sobem, na mi apply golo NTDC, na NTC land board approved, na to NTC our team Isuglo West Papua.
Over the weekend, a billboard was put up as a sign of them taking ownership of the land and to prevent illegal settlers from settling on the land. NCDC Youth Manager Rex Buka, who has been vocal on their fight for independence, challenged West Papuans to develop the land as soon as possible.
So you're not going to waste your time. You said you got really money or you think also you can buy post or one no kapa, you must come and settle area.
A women's representative from NCDC was also there to show her support for West Papuans. She said they will continue to support West Papuans to settle on this portion of land.
Now this is for the first time you've been crying for. You've been crying for so many donkey years. You've been thinking yourself, one black ground, but you seem like you must settle. You settle, beginning labor settle, Bubu labor settle. Now this number so we must have, and one black compound from West Papua must stop inside of Papua New Guinea.
Several West Papuans have already made an attempt to settle on the land. After the establishment of the billboard, more West Papuans are expected to move in the coming months. Rayon Lakingu, National EMTV News.
This is Tuesday's news. We'll have more of the day's other stories when we come back. Don't go away. Welcome back to National EMTV News. The Papua New Guinea community in Brisbane has joined many around the world to raise funds for the bushfires that have devastated parts of New South Wales and Victoria in Australia. The fundraising event, organised by the PNG Federation Queensland, was held last Saturday at Roma Parklands in Brisbane. Federation President Brendan Simmons thanked the PNG community for their continued support towards such an event. He said PNG is part of a global community and their contributions go a long way.
We stand united as one, know that we have one goal, and that's to bring the PNG people together, not through provinces, not through states, not through colours or ethnicities or languages, but just as one people. You know, we stand together as one people, proud to represent the flag of PNG, and that's who we are. All the funds that went through for our food, for everyone that contributed, that goes directly to the bushfire appeal. So that's such a massive thing, you know, because being such a small country, you know, we might not be able to send the manpower, but we can send our love, our prayers, and then, you know, through this community supporting the students, then we can give back to those who are affected.
To the United States now, and a bombshell revelation from Donald Trump's former national security advisor has shaken the president's impeachment team. In a book, John Bolton claims the president told him withholding aid to Ukraine was tied to an investigation into Joe Biden's contradicting what Mr. Trump's lawyers have been saying.
The president's former national security advisor, John Bolton, smiling and waving to cameras this morning after upending the impeachment proceedings.
Do you have any evidence of your claims, sir?
According to the New York Times, Bolton writes in his upcoming book that President Trump personally told him he wanted to continue freezing nearly $400 million in security aid until Ukraine helped to investigate his rivals, including Joe Biden. It directly contradicts what the president's defense team has been arguing.
There was no connection between security assistance and investigations.
The president's lawyers today never once mentioning Bolton, but the president tweeting, "I never told John Bolton that the aid to Ukraine was tied to investigations into Democrats, including the Bidens." If John Bolton said this, it was only to sell a book.
Does this increase the chances he could be called to testify?
Well, I haven't seen a manuscript, but I can tell you nothing was ever said to John Bolton, but I have not seen a manuscript.
Bolton's reported first-hand account is sending a seismic shock through Capitol Hill, where senators will have to decide whether to allow him as a witness.
It's pretty fair to say that John Bolton has a relevant testimony to provide to those of us who are sitting in impartial justice.
And Senator Mitt Romney says it's increasingly likely that other Republicans will join him.
The reporting on John Bolton strengthens the case for witnesses.
But the president's lawyers argue senators should focus on the evidence from the House investigation and nothing more.
We deal with transcript evidence. We deal with publicly available information. We do not deal with speculation.
This is Tuesday's news. When we come back, some sporting updates in Trukai Sports. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. We begin with kickboxing, and fighters from Marksman Fighter Promotions are now preparing for 2 international bouts that are set to take place in Australia in March and April. 4 fighters are expected to participate in both tournaments in kickboxing and boxing under Australian promoter Steve Jazz. President Mark Sondo is hoping businesses will come forward to support the fighters.
Marksman Fight Promotions is now 2 weeks into 2020 preparations, and training is what they need for the next 6 to 8 weeks in preparations for 2 international bouts in Queensland and New South Wales. He said 4 fighters in the squad will represent Papua New Guinea come next month in Brisbane and Sydney.
We are leaving end of the month, end of next month. The fight is on 15th. We have 4 fighters confirmed.
Mark, who is also part of the team, says the fighters are getting support from PNG's High Performance Sport. Currently, there are 12 fighters now training under Marksman Fight Promotions. Most of the fighters in the team are unemployed youths and single fathers who are looking for an opportunity to secure promoters in Australia.
Regarding the training, we have Bush. We've been training together for the last couple of months. And I've even traveled in and out in Australia for like some years, like Max had said, 5 years or something. We've been connecting with Team Jazz in Australia. So now we are, like myself, I've been traveling oftenly in Australia. So now I'm preparing very well with marksman promotion here under the IFM Center, and I'm looking forward for the March 13 fight in Australia and Sydney.
As me as a captain for the team, so we are ready now to represent the country, to going down to overseas travel. Me and Mark and all our boys are ready. Very hard training this time.
Marksman Fight Promotions is working alongside an Australian promoter, Steve Jez, under Jez Promotions, and has been helping for more than 8 years now. Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
To Rugby League and SPPNG Hunters coach Matthew Church is an advocate for life after Rugby League. Church is concerned about what players will be doing after their Rugby League careers have ended. He is now working on getting a pathway set for the SPPNG Hunters players to have players transition from being full-time Rugby League players to formal employees.
For these players currently in the SPPNG Hunters, playing Rugby League is not a long-term career, with coach Matthew Church not even taking the team to their first official match. And he is already talking about life after Rugby League. Church sees a huge need for players to be prepared well on the rugby field, but also off the field when they decide to leave the SPPNG Hunters or retire from the sport. Church sees this as a real need for players in the Hunter squad to chart a course away from Rugby League.
Oh, I definitely see a need for it. I think it's a combination that you need to have a plan for the future. It's a short career when you're playing, or even when you're coaching. It's a short window of time to maximise that opportunity. So it's about, I know these guys are on the, fairly national stage, and everyone would know them. So it's about maximising that, but also then giving them life skills, so education or qualifications work-wise.
Some players in the team have qualifications in trade courses, ICT, university and college education. But for some players, Rugby League seems to be the priority at the moment. For Church, he sees it as a failure if he does not create better opportunities for the Hunters players after Rugby League.
The Hunters, whenever they leave, for whatever reason they're leaving, that they're moving on with a better qualified. And to be honest, I think if I just make them better football players, if that's the only thing that I do, then I'm probably failing in my job. We need to make them better people.
Well, how is it going to work? How will Church find a solution to his idea? Church says most people and corporates around the country know the players, and Church is encouraging sponsors as well to look into avenues to create employment and training for players after their Rugby League careers.
The end goal is that they're transitioning into a new career. So we should be doing more from our perspective. So I just want to lean on sponsors whenever I get a chance to have that word to them about let's making them better people.
Fidelis Sukina, National EMTV Sports.
Still in Rugby League, the 2020 Hevea Cup tournament is set to begin on the 5th of March in Port Moresby. This is the second day of competition, with many teams from Port Moresby and the Central Province showing interest.
Majority of the teams are from Port Moresby. A team from Gulf will be joining the competition, with teams from Central Province also showing interest to participate.
But they're looking for financial sponsors. So if there are people out there or companies that are wanting to participate in PNG's biggest public health event, please reach out to Grassskirt Project, hit us up on our website or on our Facebook and make contact with us to ensure that more Papua New Guineans access health in a safe environment, which is Hevea Cup.
The inaugural Hevea Cup competition held last year had more than 3,000 spectators and participants. Organisers of the tournament say they're expecting an increase this year.
We're hoping to have over 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people come through. So we're wanting to really project out strong social messages that, this partnership with SCEL is for the communities.
There will be rugby league clinics held for teams before the start of the competition. The first clinic starts this weekend and will be held at Badihagwa Secondary School. This clinic is to help teams prepare for the tournament.
This year we're concentrating on defence. So that workshop will run for 2 hours and be working a lot of technical things and working with the coaches and the team. So my job is to make sure these teams are ready. Also, we're going to be running a ASCA course as well, the strength conditioning. So
Goodman Fielders, with the brands Flame Flour, Scale Rice and other products, have supported the tournament with 70,000 kina. This is the first time they've sponsored this event and look forward to working closely with GSP.
And Wellness Expo 2020 and sponsor, as they continue their work on initiatives like gender equality, elimination of gender-based violence, empowerment of women and girls, and the building of stronger, more resilient communities, improving public health and education outcomes across the country through participation in sports.
The Heavier Cup will begin on the 5th of March and end on the 7th. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
Don't go anywhere. True Guy Sports will continue with more right after these messages.
True Guy Sports.
Welcome back to True Guy Sports. To some sport abroad now, and tennis star Nick Kyrgios doesn't seem that bad after all, inspired by the memory of Kobe Bryant. Kyrgios put up a fight against Rafael Nadal in the Australian Open 4th round, with many believing the wild child might have finally calmed down.
Nick Kyrgios never met Kobe Bryant, but his impact on the huge basketball fan is obvious.
I think there's already emotion in Nick's eyes.
Kyrgios warming up for one of the biggest matches in his tennis career, wearing his idol's famous Lakers jersey, trying to channel some of the Mamba's mentality. Even with that, penetrating the Rafael Nadal defences is difficult.
Is picture perfect.
Nadal taking the first set with relative ease and continuing the quite impressive show in the second. But Kyrgios is impossible to predict. Shots like these earning a rare break against the world number one and helping level the match.
He's made it.
It seemed something had to give, and it did in a return to type in the third.
He had Nadal's respect. He may well get Nadal's vengeance.
That just the start. Having fought so hard to get himself back into the match and into a tiebreak, some pent-up frustration had the Aussie cracking.
Why, Nick?
And losing the third set, Nadal smelling blood. Then suddenly the new Kyrgios re-emerged, one with remarkable fight, blasting himself towards a tiebreak to keep his chances alive.
Unbelievable scenes here in Melbourne.
Unfortunately for the Aussie faithful, those scenes lasting just a few points more. Kyrgios' spirited, skillful Australian Open campaign eventually ended in 3.5 hours.
Yeah, I feel like I've made progress as a human. A tennis player I don't really care about as much. I want to keep going in this direction for sure.
Kyrgios leaving Rod Laver Arena with a loss, but newfound respect and game to go with it.
The late Kobe Bryant will be inducted into American basketball's Hall of Fame automatically in an unprecedented move. Bryant will be confirmed as a new inductee in a few weeks. Usually a lengthy voting process is needed, but it's been rushed through as the sport honors one of the greatest ever who died tragically. NBA games went on today with plenty of emotions flowing.
In Chicago, tributes to Kobe Bryant, the city famous for the Bulls franchise, and another legend and contemporary Michael Jordan. They even turned Jordan's statue Lakers purple and gold today. Then to mark that first singlet Kobe made famous in LA, Chicago held the ball on the first possession, winding down the clock.
They'll hold the ball for 8 seconds.
Steven Adams, Oklahoma City Thunder paying their respects against Dallas. Silence, then a salute, also incurring an 8-second violation as a tribute. The Lakers-Clippers LA Derby game postponed tomorrow, as some question why yesterday's games weren't called off.
You know, teams were already on the court in the midst of playing. There was no precedent in the league to cancel games. I think John F. Kennedy was the last time the league had done that.
Back here today, we tracked down young Breakers star R.J. Hampton, who, like Kobe Bryant, will go virtually from high school into the NBA as a potential superstar.
Was he someone who you've obviously watched so much of and modelled yourself on, playing-wise?
For sure. You know, I think for the longest I would only watch the NBA game if Kobe was playing.
And Breakers teammate Sek Henry, LA born and raised. He played against Kobe during the NBA lockout and industrial action in 2011, even beating him in college pickup games.
Kobe sat on the bench. They was like, yeah, you got to go on the other side. Y'all lost. Kobe was like, call me when you got 5 rings.
In the off-season, Henry trains at Bryant Sports Academy north of LA, where the helicopter was flying to before yesterday's crash, and where they mourned Kobe Bryant today.
Every time I look at it, it just makes my heart drop. For me, and anybody that knows me I always say Kobe is the greatest.
Henry returns home to LA when the Breakers season is over. The city he knows where basketball will never be the same again.
That ends Trukai Sports for this evening. When we come back, we take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
A look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. We begin in the southern region. Fine and sunny for Port Moresby, Daru, Kerma and Olotau. Some showers expected in Popondetta. To the Momase region, cloudy weather and some showers expected in Lae, Wau, Wewak and Vanimo. Showers as well in Madang. To the New Guinea Islands region, fine becoming cloudy later on in Kokopo and Rabaul. Some showers expected in Lorengau, Kavieng and Kimbe. Fine and sunny in Buka. And in the Highlands region, all the major centres, Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg, can expect partly cloudy weather with showers developing over the next 24 hours.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
And that's the way it is today, Tuesday, the 28th of January 2020. On behalf of the National EMTV News team right around the country, pleasant viewing. Good night.